TNT, it's game 2 of our doubleheader. The Lakers and the Suns in their first game. We will be right back.
The throttle on Phoenix Suns fever in the Valley of the Sun. They have their eyes set on the gold during their silver season. Game 1, the Lakers and the Suns. Along with Dick Versace, I'm Ron Thulin as we take a look at tonight's Jeep Eagles starting matchups. Quite a switch for Randy Funn. He wanted to go first with Eldon Campbell, but he's made a switch going on Barkley.
Well, Ron, I think what's going to happen is that Randy Funn is going to use a variety of defenses on Charles Barkley. There's no way that you can just do one thing the entire game. He's too smart, he reads it, and he's more devastating against double teams sometimes than single coverage.
Randy Funn, the embattled coach at this point, at least in the LA media, as far as whether or not he will return next year. On one side, both rookie coaches, and Paul Westphal, the winningest rookie coach in NBA history as he led the Suns to 62 victories, 20 defeats. He will be at the helm for the Suns. Over 19,000 have come to America West Arena in Phoenix. TV stations were doing live shots from the arena at 6:30 this morning. This town, this city, and this state, Dick, nothing like it. They taste championship.
And unfortunately, they'll be satisfied with nothing less.
Vlade Divac tries to open up the scoring, goes through the hands of Charles Barkley. Phoenix has the basketball.
Well, Miguel Knight is the guy you want to watch. You know, obviously Kevin Johnson, Anthony Peeler not here tonight. And if there's a weakness on the Phoenix Suns, it's Miguel Knight.
Charles Barkley said, all the pressure is on Knight. Can he perform? Although he performed very effectively in place of Kevin Johnson earlier. As the shot clock goes to 2, Marley throws it up. The no-look pass by Knight. What a fresh 24. Inside, we've got our first 2 of the game, and it belongs to none other than Charles Barkley.
Well, it's fitting that Charles Barkley would score the first basket in the playoff for the Phoenix Suns in a year that they think they can win the championship.
Suns were 62-20 on the year. Three ties it up at 2 apiece. They were 35-6 here in America West Arena. 5 of those losses coming after the All-Star break. Lakers, on the other hand, 39-43, their worst record in 18 years. They were 19-22 on the road. The second consecutive year, they had a -500 record away from the Forum. Randy Funn, the 10th Laker head coach, 40 years old, and I'd say all the rumors surrounding Randy has been quite a distraction for this ball club, but that young man has handled it extremely well.
Well, he's handled it well up until tonight. James Edwards was telling me that Randy was a little bit pressed tonight, a little bit nervous, but I don't think that's abnormal. It's also his first playoff game as a head coach.
Very bright young man. Green down low. Being guarded by Knight. A little alley-oop, but we have a whistle. No basket. No basket. Jack Nees going over talking to Paul Westphal. The basket is good by Campbell. Inadvertent whistle, says Jack Nees. So the alley-oop is good.
Well, see, when you're a coach, this is one of the things that you don't like at all. And I think you always feel like you have a legitimate beef. And I think Paul Westphal feels like he's got a definite legitimate beef. He says, hey, when that whistle plays, we tell our guys you stop playing. That's the only thing that you stop play for.
Well, Jack Nees and Paul Westphal still talking on the far side. Nevertheless, the Lakers lead at 4-2 early on in the first quarter. Ceballos is blocked by Eldon Campbell. The Lakers 4-on-2. Scott doesn't get it. Campbell, the rebound, the return, bank it. We already have a little pushing and shoving with Mark West and A.C. Green underneath.
Well, you know, the only thing the Lakers have going for them coming into this game, Ron, is they have a huge front line with A.C. Green, Eldon Campbell, and Vlade Divac. The Phoenix Suns roster only averages 6'3" or 6 feet 3 inches per man. That's the shortest team in the NBA. Little interesting tay-to-tay already.
Charles Barkley pushing off A.C. Green. A.C. wisely walks away. Charles stays in place. Technical foul will be called on Charles Barkley by referee Ken Mauer. So Barkley gets a tee in the first quarter. Only took him 2 minutes and 18 seconds.
Well, let's take a look. Charles is down there. He's stepping up to A.C. Green. Gives him a little shove. A.C. says, I don't like that. Kenny Mauer right in the middle. Says, hey, guys, haven't you heard about the new rules? It can cost you a lot of money. Plus, more importantly, Ron, it can cost you a suspension. And you don't want to get suspended in the playoffs.
Byron Scott hits the technical foul. Here it is again as Vlade Divac picked up the foul on the play. Little sandwich.
Well, I think that's what Charles was objecting to. He thought there was an extracurricular squeeze in there, and he didn't like it.
Charles Barkley will go to the line and shoot the 2 free throws after the foul by Divac.
Must have had too many chicken wings last night. What do you think, Ron?
I'll tell you what, we spent about 3 hours with Charles Barkley last night watching basketball on TNT. It's an experience to watch an NBA game with an NBA player.
Well, especially that NBA player. You know, and the amazing thing is, Ron, you and I and Jeff Begley, our producer, sat there and we listened to Charles Barkley, you know, for about 2 hours, and we found ourselves agreeing with the guy about 90% of the time.
That was a shot of Jeff Begley, our producer, in the stands with the cone head, in case you're wondering. Barkley, 25.6 on the year, 77%. The chance of MVP were in New York, and I'm sure we will hear the chance of MVP here in Phoenix tonight. One thing the Lakers do have is a great deal of pride. Every player talking before the game said, you know, everybody has counted us out of this. Realistically, we have very little chance, but they've got a lot of pride. Knight inside. Barkley, not to be denied. We have a whistle and a foul. The foul was on Campbell. That is his first personal.
Well, you got to like Charles Barkley. He's coming down the court with the ball, tried to create a little bump over there, found himself off balance. But look at the second effort. Down on the floor. A guy that's up for the MVP of the league down on the floor, showing you how it should be done.
Barkley 6th in the NBA in rebounding, 5th in scoring. Already with 4 tonight, the Laker lead cut down to 3. Phoenix swept the season series between these two teams, 5-0, the first time in either franchise's history they have swept it. Phoenix won by an average of 14 points, shooting better than 50% from the floor against the Lakers. The lead is 2, 9-14 left in the first.
Well, these 5-game series can be just devastating, and they're very nerve-wracking for all people involved. All your front office people get nervous. They know that 82% of the teams that win the first game win the series historically, and there's a lot of nervous people at all levels involved in the first game nervousness of a 5-game series.
Winning the first game is so important in the 9-year history of 5-game series. The team that won the first game won 62 of 72 series. Vlade Divac carries it. First turnover of the ball game.
You know, and well, they should be nervous. Look what happened in New York. Look what happened in Portland last night. The upset, San Antonio coming back. Portland having a lead by 15 points. Charles Barkley rooting for San Antonio last night. And Charles Barkley rooting for the Suns with a sound of the ages dunk.
Barkley said he was too pumped up last night to sleep. Divac gets the shooter's roll. Vlade Divac gets in the books. The Lakers lead at 9-7 at the 8:24 mark of the first. Ceballos led the NBA in field goal percentage. He's 1 for 1 tonight.
Well, Randy Funn can't be too happy about that. Cedric Ceballos took what amounted to a warm-up jump shot.
Sedale Threatt, who also can light it up, led the Lakers in scoring this year at 15.1. Byron Scott's another interesting story. We talk about the distractions for Randy Funn. Byron Scott, a free agent at the end of the year, and everybody pretty much has said he will not be back with the Lakers next season.
Well, I don't think the Lakers are going to have him back either. They want to get young, and they're in a team that's in transition. See, Miguel Knight is a guy that Randy Funn told us last night he was very afraid of. Everyone felt that, well, you could double off of Miguel Knight, but he said, hey, one night we did it, and he had 27 on us.
The off-balance jumper. Vlade Divac inside. West rejects it. Vlade tries to keep it alive, but instead it ends up in a white jersey's hand. Ceballos, those big arms and an explosive jump.
Well, Cedric Ceballos leads the NBA in field goal percentage. Mark West shot 61%. That was a little higher, but he didn't qualify. He only took 385 shots all year. That's about 3 a game.
Vlade inside, doesn't get it. Whistle and a foul. That will be on Mark West. That'll be Mark's first personal foul, and that'll send Vlade Divac to the line. Is excellent year for Vlade. Average career high in points and rebounds this year.
Well, if you're watching the Phoenix Suns and you want to figure out what they're doing offensively, basically it boils down to this. They like the run. They want to get out in transition. They'll throw the home run pass. Barkley will get the ball out of bounds the bulk of the time. Oliver Miller will take the ball out and throw home run passes, a la the Boston Celtics. Then they get down court and they try to get the ball in the hands of either KJ or Barkley and let them make some offense. That's primarily what they do.
Divac was in the right place at the right time. Sedale Threatt from 18, nothing but net. Randy Flood said he'd be really worried if Phoenix starts blocking shots and the Suns start getting dunks. Well, they've had both already tonight. That has to worry the Laker coach. Lakers lead it by 1. Marley for 3, doesn't get it. Ceballos tries to keep it alive. AC Green has it. The Phoenix Suns attempted more three-pointers than anybody else in NBA history this year. Green faces up, doesn't get it. Barkley already with 4 rebounds. Marley on Scott. Byron has his hands full with this matchup. Marley baseline fall away. West snares the rebound. Excellent effort by number 41.
Well, that's why he shoots 61%. He's a role player. He doesn't try to do anything that he can't do. He's a very, very handy player, and he's a very, very strong player, and he leads the league in games played. He's one of the top 2 Iron Men in the league. AC Green is the other.
Campbell, shot clock at 4. Campbell has to put up the shot way short. West with the rebound. It's a 3-on-2. You've got to get back in transition on this basketball team, and the Lakers don't, and they pay for it. The Lakers have to be concerned about getting their best players the best shot. Right now, they haven't been able to do it. Green trying to get position on Barkley, but the jumper goes down for Sedale Threatt, already with 8 first-quarter points.
Well, Sedale Threatt not only leads this team in scoring, he's also their top assist man. He's really filled in since the second retirement of Magic Johnson.
Ceballos, shot clock, a lot of time. Knight lets it go for 20, and he drains it. Nigel Knight with 6, but Lakers make him pay on the other end as AC Green outruns Cedric Ceballos.
Well, the easiest time to score in the game of basketball is right after you've been scored upon. There's that little lag where one team decides that it's going to celebrate and doesn't get back defensively.
Suns by 1. Barkley, great move on Divac. Almost passes it to himself. Phoenix has it with 9 on the shot clock, but we're going to take a timeout. 4:36 left in the first. It is a 1-point ball game. The Suns lead it. We'll be back. Leaded by 1, 19-18, 4:36 left in the first. As you can see, Kevin Johnson not in the familiar uniform tonight, rather dapper in a suit and tie. He is not playing, but the news is good on him, Dick. He was practicing in the practice court prior to the game. He'll be ready in the playoffs probably in the next couple of days. Now, Anthony Peeler, on the other hand, not playing for the Lakers, and that really hurts L.A.
Well, it hurts L.A. because they depend on this young man, and they feel that if he was available, then it would be a stronger effort that they could give. Another thing that Randy Fun is concerned about is the fact that his team does not get back well in transition. They haven't done it all year. They've given up a high field goal percentage, and it's been a problem early in the game so far.
Well, each team's shooting 53% so far, 8 for 15 from the floor. James Worthy has checked into the lineup. Worthy, who averages better than 21 points a game and 55% from the floor during playoff competition in his career. They need a big game. That'll be, they knocked him over. Charles Barkley wanted a foul, but instead they just call it a turnover.
Well, I think the Lakers are doing a good job, Ron, of really mixing up how they're going to play Charles Barkley. Sometimes they play him with one guy, as they did that time. Eldon Campbell did a nice job, picked up the charge.
Out for Barkley. Marley in the paint. Boy, when he gets it that deep, you're going to pay for it.
Well, Byron Scott normally does not guard. So he's used to playing with Magic Johnson in the backcourt. Magic Johnson would take the big 2 guard. Byron Scott traditionally has guarded the smaller point guards in his career.
Barkley, rebound number 6 in the quick outlet tonight. Exactly what Phoenix does so well. But Divac from behind with the block. Randy Funn yelling 1 up. Trying to get in their offense, trying to make the simple plays. They only trail by 3. Scott spotting up. Sabalos cuts him off with 2 on the shot clock. Byron Scott rips the nets.
Well, that's that hair trigger that you've seen so many years in so many championship games by Byron Scott.
Marley for another 3. Campbell had it, and he lost it.
You know, one of the things we didn't discuss about these 2 teams is if you talk about playoff experience, championship experience, the Los Angeles Lakers have 13 rings collectively. The Phoenix Suns have 2. They both belong to Danny Ainge.
Who has been so much a part of this ball club, and that's one thing Charles Barkley kept telling us, that you got to give a lot of credit to Ainge. Now, here's where Charles Barkley is can really hurt you. There's so many things that can happen when you don't double team, when you single cover him, and then when he waits for the double team.
That time, Eldon Campbell again guarded him. You know, Eldon Campbell, 6'11", a great leaper, one of the better shot blockers for the LA Lakers. Backed off to Charles, gave him the jump shot, made him miss.
Divac goes in, doesn't get it. Tries to flip it back to Sedale Threatt instead into the hands of Knight. To Barkley.
Well, that's not a thing, Ron. It's not a thing that the Lakers can do if they cannot make this team play 5-on-5.
And Randy Funn wants to talk about it. 2:27 left in the first. The Suns by 3.
Knight not being stopped. Sedale Threatt backing up, giving room, and that's just not good enough. Randy Funn called a timeout, and I'm sure in that timeout he said, hey, look, this is playoff time, and this is when you're supposed to force teams to play on the half. And if they don't do it, they're going to have a long, long night ahead of them.
Well, Doug Christie has checked into the lineup. The rookie out of Pepperdine, who was originally drafted by Seattle, came over in the Sam Perkins trade. Also, Tom Chambers coming in, and Richard Dumas for the Suns. But Barkley not to be denied again, his 7th rebound. Knight, Chambers sets the pick. Divac lets Knight go, leaves Chambers open down low. Campbell ties him up again for Tom Chambers.
Well, that's the one thing the Lakers do have going for them. Size, they had a lot of bodies in the lane there, but Tom Chambers just out-hustled all of the Laker front line.
Tom Chambers, a player that has really had to redirect his role as James Worthy flying to the basket, able to use the rim effectively.
Well, Randy Funn told us that he would do what the Lakers traditionally do in the playoffs. That's tighten the rotation. He doesn't expect to play more than 7 people tonight.
Knight wide open on the left side of the paint, and Miguel Knight has 8. Christie, who's learning to play the point guard position, says it's very difficult right now, and he's looking forward to the summer of work. Just trying to learn the tricks of the trade. Worthy inside, he's going to be hammered.
Well, I'd be very surprised, excuse me, Ron, I'd be very surprised if Doug Christie ever makes that transition. I don't think you can play another position your entire career and then all of a sudden be made into a point guard that's going to be an effective point guard in this league. This league is the greatest of equalizers.
Well, Danny Ainge has checked into the lineup for the Phoenix Suns. AC Green has come back in for the Lakers. Vlade Divac sits out. Foul, by the way, was on Dumas. James Worthy on the year, 81% from the line, 14.9 points for his average.
Well, you know, an interesting thing, Byron Scott, James Worthy, and AC Green had either won a championship or played in the finals every year they've been with the Lakers, with the exception of last year and, of course, probably not this year.
Marley being guarded by Scott. Campbell still on Barkley.
Still single coverage. That's very interesting.
Worthy tries to come from the backside, and when he does, he leaves Richard Dumas wide open.
Well, that's the thing that Sabalos and Dumas give this Phoenix Sun team. They give it that slashing element. They've got the perimeter shooting. They've got the slashing. They've got the inside. They've got the speed.
Christie getting a step. Fans wanted to travel, but Doug Christie showing why he was a #1 pick. Ainge stops from 15, drains it. Danny Ainge, who has been bothered by a wrist problem the last couple of weeks in the regular season, seems to be okay now as Dumas for good defensive play, but the Lakers have it. LA, the only under 500 team in the NBA playoffs, and the last under 500 team to advance to the second round was Seattle back in 1987. Worthy on Marley. Shot clock at 8. Worthy drains it.
You can't give him that much space. When he gets into the middle and he gets into the paint, and he's got some space, you can just about mark it on the scoreboard.
Barkley gets a step on Campbell, and Campbell puts that right shoulder into him to try to block the baseline off, but instead he picks up his second personal foul.
See, Charles realizes that the strategy that the Lakers are using has been fairly effective. I mean, this is a 4-point game right now with just a little bit of time left in the first quarter, like 2.9 seconds, so we're going to have a little quick finish here.
Barkley, as the buzzer goes.
How about that? Well, Charles Barkley always knows the time on the scoreboard. He knows every element that you need to know in the game. And how about this? 2.9 seconds left in the quarter. Little head fake, fade away. Nothing but net. Nails it.
So Charles Barkley finishes up the first 12 minutes of play with 11 points, 7 rebounds, 2 assists. The Coneheads love it. The Suns lead it by 6. Arena over 19,000 on hand, and after one, the Suns lead it by the score of 33-27.
Well, you know, we talked about why Charles Barkley is sometimes more devastating when he's double-teamed. So you see single coverage right now, Barkley in low post, waiting for the double team. Makes the right read. Richard Dumas inside.
Oliver Miller comes into the lineup, the rookie for the Phoenix Suns out of Arkansas. Wearing number 25, 6'9", just under 300 pounds, only 23 years old. As Charles Barkley told us, this young man could be a superstar. Ainge for 3. The most prolific three-point shooting team in the NBA as far as attempts and makes. They shoot about 13 threes a game. Scott back into the lineup, lets it go. Can't get it. The follow by Worthy. Tipped up and in by A.C. Green. Green with 4. The lead remains at 7.
Well, that's a mismatch that Randy's going to have to make an adjustment on. Marley has shot over Byron Scott. He has posted him inside, and now he took him off the dribble and finished with a layup.
Another turnover. Here comes Miller leading the 3-on-2 charge. Christie the other way. The Lakers have the numbers. Divac back to Christie, who won the slam dunk contest at a rookie camp, so he can't jump. Seven-point Phoenix advantage. Christie is going to be slammed hard by Tom Chambers on the pick, and Chambers gets the whistle.
Chambers not happy. Said he ran into me.
That was right in front of us. Tom, you're wrong.
Yeah, he's wrong.
Tony Smith is coming to the lineup, and Byron Scott's going to take a seat for the Lakers.
Yeah, I thought Randy would have to make an adjustment. Marley was just having his way with Byron Scott.
From the corner, Tony Smith.
Nothing like it, Ron. You bring a guy in off the bench and he gets a basket for you. Hopefully he'll give you some help on the defensive end as well.
Ainge trying to fend off Christie. Marley, the switch with Christie. Shot clock at 8. Miller right into the hands of A.C. Green. Worthy has Smith on the left, Green down the middle. To Smith, to the hole, no basket. Offensive foul, says Jack Neese. They say Tony Smith used that left arm.
Well, let's take a look and see exactly what Tony Smith was so unhappy about. You see A.C. Green going in. That makes a nice little dish off. Tony Smith goes up.
There's the clear.
There it is. Definite clear.
And we've got a timeout. 9:55 left in the second. The Suns lead it by 5. We'll be back. 33 as Phoenix has made 7 consecutive field goal attempts. We still have a lot of time left, 9:55. Other scores from around the NBA tonight. Patrick Ewing, the game winner, as you saw in our tremendous bonus coverage tonight. They lead that series 1-0, and in a game also you saw on TNT tonight, Chicago all over Atlanta, 114-90. Big game for Michael Jordan. And at the half, Seattle leading Utah by 9, and Sean Kemp, obviously fresh off the bench, 23 points, 10 rebounds. Not too bad.
Well, I don't think there's any question Chicago was trying to make a statement. They said they've been playing and waiting for the playoffs all season long.
Now it is Ainge. Divac jumps out on him. Worthy on Chambers. Shot clock at 4. Ainge will be short with the J. Green with the rebound. Los Angeles being very stubborn tonight. Staying close with Phoenix. Christie getting a lot of important playing time. He walks with it, will go the other way.
Well, he's not a natural point guard, and if they're gonna try to make him a point guard, I do see great athletic ability in this young man. But quite honestly, his value is to this team in this game tonight is what he can do defensively and what he can do in the open court.
Ainge, the high rainbow. Worthy comes down with the pot of gold. Here comes Christie again. 3-on-3. Worthy spotting up for a 3. Lakers have it with 17 on the shot clock, and Sedale Threatt comes back into the lineup. At the conclusion of tonight's game, Dick and I will be selecting the Budweiser player of the game. 13 on the shot clock, 8:53 left in the second. Dumas on the veteran Worthy. The spin move doesn't get it. Green tracks down the loose rock. Oh, James Worthy was wide open underneath. Nobody saw him, but Divac still gets the hoop. Following the trade to Sam Perkins, Vlade Divac has been very hot in his 33 starts. 15 points, 9.7 rebounds, and almost 4 assists. Smith whistled for the foul. That is his second, as Barkley will come back into the lineup. And Oliver Miller sits down. Eldon Campbell in, Worthy out.
Well, you know, Vlade Divac leads this Laker team in a lot of categories. He's their leading offensive and defensive rebounder. He's also the most prolific fouler with 311. And he's their leading shot blocker.
Fall away by Charles Barkley. Oh, the return by Richard Dumas.
Well, see, there's no excuse that time. There was no double team. Eldon Campbell played Charles Barkley one-on-one. Caused him to miss. Now you got to have some box out on the weak side, and you got to hold him to one shot.
A very talented player. He works on his game, his potential, once again unlimited. Let's take a look at it again and see exactly what you were talking about.
Well, you're going to see that Barkley is being played by Eldon Campbell. That's not a bad way to play him. See the size? Now you make a miss, but you got to put a body on Richard Dumas.
Follows up Barkley, his first personal. Over to Threatt. Fakes, gets Marley up in the air, starts to take it to the hole. Strong doesn't get it, goes down hard. Chambers, the outlet, it is a 5-on-4, and Threatt is injured on the far end of the court. Chambers from 17 doesn't get it. Threatt just getting up, and he's limping as Gary Vitti, the LA trainer, quickly trying to run over to him. The foul, by the way, was on Dumas. That's his second. And now Threatt trying to walk it off. Let's look at it again.
Well, see, when Sedale Threatt drove the lane, he thought he got fouled. It looked like there was a little bit of contact there, but you see the two knees colliding down low. That's where the contact occurred. The official missed that. Then he took a hard fall to the floor, twisted his ankle, and hit his hip at the same time. He's trying to walk it off over in front of the scorer's table.
Alley-oop to Christie. We have a whistle and a grab, and Threatt quickly comes back into the lineup. That was a pretty good-looking play. The rookie read it well.
Well, Randy Funn was telling me last night that after timeouts and stops and play, what they try to do is they try to set up plays where they can get lobs and little quick hitters from the out of bounds.
Non-shooting foul on Dan Marley. So Christie goes back to the bench, catch a little breath, back into the lineup, Sedale Threatt. Backing in, Campbell loses the handle on the rock, it rolls out. It'll be a kick, and Phoenix's basketball.
Well, I really like the defense that Phoenix is playing tonight. What they're doing is that they're waiting for the posted players, whether it's Worthy or Campbell, and they're waiting till they put the ball on the floor. They're coming on the second dribble.
Marley a little behind the back pass. Chambers tracks it down with 13 on the shot clock. Ainge all alone for the three, doesn't get it. The purple jerseys have it. Now it is Campbell trying to post up on Chambers. Divac setting the pick on Marley. Threatt open for just a second, and he takes advantage of it for his 10th.
Somehow I knew Sedale Threatt would be back in this game.
You know, the trigger is always cocked, isn't it?
Yeah.
He's ready to just pull it.
Bad ankle or not.
Divac's knocked over. Offensive foul on Tom Chambers. And Vlade Divac is limping. So Tom Chambers picks up his second personal foul. We'll step aside for about a minute and a half, and we'll be back with the Suns leading by 3.
Well, this is the playoffs. Let's take a look at Sedale Threatt. Drives the lane. He's going to get hit down low. Danny Ainge gets him with the knee. No call. That hurt. This hurt even more when he went down. Oh, he's in pain. He looks like he's done for the game. But wait a minute. One trip later, Sedale Threatt, screen from Vlade Divac, gets a window, knocks down the shot. Threatt has 10 points, shooting 5 for 8 from the field.
The angel of mercy in the playoffs. Shows up a lot, doesn't it?
You know, I took a look at his face after he got hurt, and I went, nah. He's all right. Nah, he's all right.
Well, Gary Vitti bounced off the bench quickly. He started to run over, and all of a sudden Sedale got up and just head the other way. Lakers have the basketball. They trail it by 3, 6-10. They have done a nice job so far being very patient offensively. Smith, the pull-up over Ainge, and he drains it. Tony Smith, out of Marquette, the third-year pro, was a second-round pick back in 1990. LA on a 10-2 run have cut it to 1. Campbell doing a nice job on Charles Barkley. Comes up with a loose ball. It is a 3-on-1. Oh, what a pass by Campbell to Threatt. And the Lakers have the lead.
Oh, that was a great look away. He had everybody fooled. Everybody thought he was going to go down the other side, but he kicked it off to the left with a little no-look.
We talked in the first quarter about the pride the Lakers had. They talked about it in a team meeting today. They talked about Randy Funn's situation. Chambers drains it over Green, but quickly AC heads the other way. Smith over Ainge again. Doesn't get it this time, and Marley takes it away from Charles. But the Lakers able to get back on transition, forcing Phoenix into their half-court offense. Marley over Threatt. Doesn't get it. Barkley had the position twice. That'll be a loose ball foul. And it will be on the Lakers. AC Green picks up his first personal foul. As Ernie Johnson says, we'll be showing you so much basketball, you'll be begging us to stop. We've got a doubleheader coming your way again tomorrow night. The Nets in the Cleveland in Game 2, and Clippers in Houston also in Game 2. All beginning at 7 o'clock Eastern time. Note the time, not 8 o'clock Eastern time. We're going to come to you an hour earlier tomorrow night. Barkley puts the big body in front of Threatt. Looking for somebody. Shot clock at 7. Now Marley picks up Smith, who takes it inside. Shot clock at 2. Campbell lets it go. Doesn't get it. Smith had it. Loose ball foul, and that will be, I think, on Mark West.
Danny Ainge ran over, started clapping to the official like, hey, you know, the call went our way, went our way. Kenny Maurer did not buy it.
And Mark West does pick up his second personal. You know, people have talked about the problems the Lakers have had this year. There's really three key areas this team and why they have not been successful as Sedale Threatt hits. One of them is they based the team on Magic Johnson to begin the season.
Another one is they lost Sam Perkins, a key component for this team.
Danny Ainge, the running jumper. Barkley, position all over Smith and Campbell. He draws the foul as Miguel Knight will come back into the lineup. I think also this team is not a very balanced team. They have 5 players that are really 2 guards, that are really shooting guards. And also they had to get the rookies some playing time. So you put all those factors into a bowl and you understand why the Lakers have had problems this year.
Well, they clearly are a team in transition. And that's why it seems a little inscrutable that all these problems they have are laid, you know, at the feet of Randy Funn. Randy Funn is an assistant who worked for Pat Riley 8 or 9 years, paid his dues, finally got an opportunity to be the head coach. Really, if they still had Sam Perkins, they'd probably have about the same record that they had last year when they won 43 games. I would say that Sam would make up the difference in 5 games. And so I think it's kind of unfair what's happening to him, at least in the media. It would be nice to see Jerry West and Jerry Buss step up and stand up for Randy Funn, who's been a dedicated part of their program for many, many years.
Well said. Charles Barkley misses them both. The Lakers still lead it by 1. Shot clock at 8. Threatt for 3, doesn't get it. Green getting position on Barkley for the rebound. Not something you see all the time. Now Scott yelling out instructions. Worthy working on Ceballos. The double team from Marley leaves Threatt open. He takes it in strong to the hole for 2. Sedale Threatt now with 16 first half points, and the Lakers have a 3-point advantage. Ceballos from way outside, not his range, a whistle. That'll be a grabbing foul called on Vlade Divac.
Well, that's unfortunate. The Lakers had an opportunity to maybe make this lead 5. They got exactly what they wanted. Cedric Ceballos taking an outside shot, not his strength. They got the miss, they got the rebound. Vlade Divac complicates matters by grabbing a jersey.
That is his second, and the Lakers have a fresh 24, trailing by 3 with 3 minutes left to play in the half. Knight has to dish it off. Good defense by the Lakers, packing it inside. And then showing patience on the offensive end. The Lakers 18 and 29 versus plus 500 teams this year have not had success against the better clubs. Threatt lets it fly overnight. It'll go off the shot clock. Phoenix has the basketball with 2:38 left in the half. And as we say that, Randy Funn calls a timeout. We'll be back.
Worthy is still a ton down inside, still commands the respect of a double team as Danny Ainge comes over. The long skip pass over to Sedale Threatt. Barkley rotates out, but no, Sedale Threatt with a great show and go and a beautiful finish.
Well, the 19,023 at America West Arena, including some young men who have a definite grasp on reality, are very quiet at this point because the Lakers have the 3-point advantage. Phoenix is led by as many as 7 points in the ball game, but they have only scored 9 in the second quarter. And we look at Phoenix's field goal percentage in the quarter. Now Marley spins. Divac picks him up. Knight uses his body to lean in. West, the big rebound and the putback.
Well, Mark West is going to have to come alive against the size of the Laker front line. When you've got AC Green, Vlade Divac, and Eldon Campbell inside, or James Worthy, you've got a lot of size, a lot of experience. And someone's got to step up inside besides Charles Barkley.
Worthy over West. He drains the jumper from 15. Worthy now with 7 for the ball game. The lead remains at 3. Ceballos, Worthy picks him up, forces up a one-handed throw. And here come the Lakers quickly down court to Scott. over Ceballos. Trains the jumper. Byron Scott with 5, and the Lakers have their biggest lead at 5.
Well, here's what's interesting. The last 3 or 4 trips down, Paul Westphal has elected to go with the screen and roll. That's usually KJ running that screen and roll. And they haven't gone to the isolation of Barkley as much as they usually do.
Kevin Johnson in street clothes on the far side. He is not playing in case you just joined us. West inside. Divac's good D. Anthony Peeler, of course, out for the LA Lakers. And we have 1 minute remaining in the quarter. Now showing a lot of patience. Divac with 6 rebounds, and he adds 2 more points to his total. Divac now with 7 points, 6 rebounds. The Lakers lead it by 7. The crowd is stunned.
Well, we talked earlier about when you play in the playoffs, teams will force you into a half-court game. Lakers execute well on the half-court. Phoenix never has to play on the half-court.
Worthy takes it away from Ceballos. 22 on the shot clock, 30 on the game clock. Byron doesn't wait around, and he drains it from the baseline. My goodness, and Paul Westphal wants a 20-second timeout. His troops trail it by 9.
Well, one of the things I know they're going to be talking about in this timeout is, how are we going to adjust to the way that Charles is being played? Normally, they run a lot of the offense through Charles. As I talked about before, it either goes through Charles or it goes through KJ. Obviously, Nigel Knight is not having the kind of night against the Lakers as he's had in earlier games. So they have gone to a passing game. Their running game basically is not there. They're being forced to play 5-on-5, and the Lakers' strategy against Charles has been fairly effective, and that is that they have played him with one person of size. They haven't double-teamed him very much, and he hasn't made the shots over Eldon Campbell.
Well, coming up at halftime, our Reebok halftime report, Ernie Johnson in Atlanta, along with Golden State head coach Don Nelly. Don Nelson, Nelly, and Ernie will have highlights of the Hawks and the Bulls, plus scores and highlights of Pacers, Knicks, Jazz, Sonics, all coming up next on our Reebok halftime report. How about 25-6 outscoring Phoenix in the last 7+. We've got about a 2.5-second difference between the shot and the game clock. Marley standing outside, staring down Byron Scott. Ainge looks inside. Barkley, Divac comes over. The reverse goes for Charles Barkley.
Well, they ran a little back pick.
3.
Ainge for Barkley wasn't very effective.
Scott for 3. Doesn't get it as the horn sounds, but the Phoenix Suns have trailed only 20 times during the season at halftime, and they are 9-11 in those games. We've played 24, and the Lakers have a 7-point advantage. Stay with us. Ernie Johnson back in Atlanta with the Reebok halftime report.
Home at America West Arena, and who'd have thunk at 53-46 the Lakers lead the Suns. We must have made Randy Funn mad when we talked to him earlier and talked about the Lakers having no chance in this series.
I know. He's got a great game plan, and I'll tell you, the Lakers are carrying it out extremely well. They're very patient. They don't have a lot of quick shots. They're making Phoenix play their game, which is pretty exciting.
The Lakers with a 7-point lead at the break. Elsewhere in the Western Conference, the Utah Jazz and the Seattle Supersonics beginning their best-of-5 tonight. I think a lot of people looked at this and said this could be one of the best series, and Sean Kemp certainly one of the most electrifying guys that you face.
There's no question about it. He's got a great pair of hands. He's very dominant inside. Look at the catch on this ball right here. He's going to be the new Charles Barkley someday. He's just not as smart as Charles, but he's only 23 and he's learning every day.
Out to a 17-point lead were the Sonics. Utah trying to fight back, and there's the mailman laying it in. But Sean Kemp makes his presence felt again. Tips the pass, fights for it, into your living room and throwing that thing down. Seattle in control, playing at the Seattle Center Coliseum, 69-50. They are in the third period. Seattle winning game 1 in front of the home folks. Now, in the East, the Indiana Pacers and the New York Knicks, a big-time scare for the Knicks. We'll take a look at that when the Reebok halftime report continues. The Lakers, the number 8 seed, trying to stun the Suns, the number 1 seed. It's 53-46 at the half as the Reebok halftime report continues. Almost had the same story in the Eastern Conference tonight because Indiana really threw a scare into the Knicks, who had a 19-point lead, and it just vanished. What did that game tell us?
Well, it tells you that if you can make shots, and especially hard shots, because that's what the Knicks give up, hard shots, you got a shot to beat them.
New York hangs on to take a 1-0 lead. Let's take a look at the highlights from Madison Square Garden. Charles Oakley was ejected in this thing in the fourth period. The elbow missed George McLeod, lucky for George. That was the second technical on Oakley. He gets the gate. Pat Riley goes to get Charles before things get really out of hand. He wants him for the rest of this series. Patrick Ewing, the fadeaway. How sweet is that? 89-80 New York, but here comes Indiana. LaSalle Thompson ties the game at 104 with 30 seconds to play, but you know the Knicks are going to go back to Big Patrick. Over Thompson, it goes 106-104. Controversial situation here with Reggie Miller, coach.
Tough call for the referee, but look at that big guy move his feet. Reggie loses the ball, no question about that, but was it a foul? You better call it.
Indiana had one more shot to tie, and Reggie had a good look at the hoop. It wouldn't go. 107-104. The Knicks beat the Pacers. Bob Hill wanted to talk about that no call.
Maybe you could define that play as a flop if you want, or you could define it as a no call. I think the fair call, perhaps, if you want my real opinion, if they didn't think it was a foul and they shoved him out of bounds, they should have at least given us the ball. That's what I think. That would have been the right call.
I don't think we let down. I just think you have to give them a lot of credit for hanging tough. And I'm not disappointed by the win at all. You know, we'll go to work on some things that I thought we had problems with, but we made some big plays going down the stretch.
The Knicks hang on to win it by 3. Nice contribution from Charles Smith, and the Knicks need that.
Oh, there's no question about it. He's a great player, and they need him going big time.
The Knicks 53% from the field. The Pacers held to 44%, which is right around what the Knicks usually do to people, hold you down about that low. But what do you look for in Game 2 now? Do the Pacers take this and say, hey, we're here with these guys, or, man, we came close and couldn't get it done?
No, they feel that they're going to have a shot now. Their confidence is going to be up. I think New York is going to wonder a little bit about them because, as I said, they can make hard shots.
They'll play Game 2 on Sunday. Now the Atlanta Hawks and Chicago Bulls tipped off their series tonight. Highlights of a Windy City blowout straight ahead. Bulls Game 1 at Chicago Stadium tonight. The champs trying to make it 3 straight. There you see the banners. And very few guys can do what Michael Jordan can do, Don.
I know. Did he do all this with one hand?
Oh.
Did he ever bring the second hand out?
I don't think so. It's unbelievable. He led them. Dominique Wilkins had 24 points for Atlanta, but only 8 out of 18 from the field. Here's Michael again. He's doing everything with one hand in this game. There he feeds Scottie Pippen. The lead was 27. And one more time, 35 points on the night for Michael. Let's take a look at his numbers. No, just your average night at the office. 35, 7, 5, hit 58% of his shots. The only thing that was of concern for the Bulls, Scottie Williams, with an injury late in the game. He trips, and now watch Travis Mays backpedal, and step right on the ankle. Scottie appeared to be in tremendous pain, but we're told it's a mild sprain, and he will be in there when Chicago plays Game 2 against the Hawks. They beat them 114-90 tonight. Bill Cartwright, what'd you think?
I'm sure you're looking at the film. Phil and Johnny and Tex will be able to find some things that were wrong in the game, but I thought we played pretty well for the most part. We were able to get the ball up, and like you said, on the offensive boards, we were able to control that. And when you can take the thrust away that way and not let Dominique and Mookie and those guys get the open floor, that's a big part of the game.
The game summary from the Bulls and the Hawks. Look at those rebounding numbers, will you, Nelly?
They're unbelievable.
62. You hate to be on the 28 side of that, folks.
That's a good old-fashioned butt kicking.
That was a butt kicking in the worst way. Atlanta down 1-0 to the Chicago Bulls. Here it's the Lakers 53, Phoenix 46. The third period just ahead.
The Reebok Halftime Report has been brought to you by Reebok, who reminds you that on Planet Reebok, there are no limits.
There is still a lot of basketball to be played at America West Arena in Phoenix, but right now the Los Angeles Lakers, who outscored Phoenix 26-13 in quarter number 2, head to quarter number 3, leading by 7. Along with Dick Versace, I'm Ron Thulin. And Dick, the case was that the Los Angeles Lakers have been doing exactly what they had hoped to be able to do.
Well, and that was to play Charles Barkley with one person, Eldon Campbell, get size on him, and then maybe if you're going to give help, come late. Now you'll see inside See how the help came late? But look at Campbell. He goes in. He not only made Barkley miss, he got the rebound, played a little point guard, a little no-look pass. Sedale Threatt on a nice, easy transition basket.
And a couple of the numbers from the first 24 minutes. That 13 points by the Suns in the second quarter ties the 1992-93 season low for Suns output in a quarter. Barkley only 2 points in quarter number 2. Now, Sedale Threatt had a big game, 16 first-half points for the LA Lakers.
And this time he gets it off of a nice pass from James Worthy, who was double-teamed. But look at the show and go he puts on Charles Barkley. Barkley just turned and let him go. Got beat.
Sedale Threatt, 16 points, 5 assists. He was 8 of 13 from the floor. Of course, the Phoenix Suns, the #1 scoring offense in the NBA, averaging 113 points a game, but they also have given up 106 points a game. And now Charles Barkley, Sir Charles, trying to get the troops fired up for the final 24 minutes of play. And we have to mention, Nick, we do all the time, this is a marathon. There is a lot of basketball left to be played if you're a Phoenix Suns fan.
Well, you have to win 15 games to win an NBA championship in the playoffs. Phoenix Suns feel, hey, all we have to do is win all our home games because they have the home court advantage in every game they play, East or West.
West inside. Divac may have gotten a piece of it, but once again, Barkley starting this quarter as he did the first, relentless underneath.
Well, you knew that Phoenix was going to come out smoking down at half, not happy about how they were playing. Mark West just can't quite get it to go down. But look at the effort inside. Sir Charles.
And he is at the line. Has not fared very well tonight from the stripe.
Remember what he was telling us last night? He said, I'm not that good a free throw shooter. And if there's a situation at the end of the game where somebody has to shoot a free throw, he says, I'm going to give it to that guy, but I'm not giving it to Mark West.
No, that's the only one worse, I think. But Barkley now 4 of 7 from the stripe. Part of the problem for the Suns in that first half was that Dan Marley and Danny Ainge combined for 4 of 14. The 7th turnover by the Lakers. Inside, Ceballos, the reverse. When we were away on a break, we talked about, Dick, you and I were talking about the first 5 minutes of this third quarter, so important for LA.
Well, you know, it's tradition in this league that there are 3 5-minute periods that are important. The last 5 minutes of the first half, the first 5 minutes of the third quarter, and the last 5 minutes of the game.
Lakers looking for their first 2 of the third. They may get it from the line. Marley's second personal foul on the evening. And that'll send Byron Scott to the stripe. Byron Scott, 10th year pro out of Arizona State, a first round pick back in '83, was traded from the Clippers to the Lakers for Norm Nixon and Eddie Jordan.
Not a bad trade.
Not a bad trade at all. Scored his 12,000th career point earlier this year. Well, and he's had some words with Sedale Threatt also. He said Sedale Threatt thinks 2 things on this team: shoot first and shoot second.
Well, Sedale Threatt was not totally a point guard in his career. He played both positions, and he is a scoring point guard who can also play some 2 guards. So I don't think that that's a fair criticism. I'll tell you one thing you can look for. You can look for Charles Barkley to start to crank it up. He wasn't happy with his performance. Only 2 points in the second quarter.
Oh, the big-time rejection by Eldon Campbell, his 3rd block of the night. Campbell was 2nd in the team in blocks this year. To Vlade Divac had an even 100. Lakers by 4, 10:45 left in the third. Ceballos, the running right-hander, right into the hands of Charles Barkley, who has 5 in the quarter.
See, one of the things you have to do, if you are the guy that's assigned to play Charles Barkley, I think he's as devastating on the offensive boards, although he told us last night, I'm not as good as I used to be. I don't buy it. He's still an outstanding offensive rebounder.
Scott for 3, and he drains it from the outside.
And that was deep water, deep water.
He hit 44 during the regular season at 33% and gets his first this evening. West banging inside, gets around AC Green. Scott looked at the three. Marley bit it, and then Scott takes a step inside.
I'll tell you what, Byron Scott was really feeling it. You can see it in his face. He's really into it.
Miguel Knight using his body to shade off a couple of purple jerseys. And Knight with his first two since the first quarter. But the lead is 3 by LA. Played just about 2.5 minutes here in the third. Devon's on West. The double team comes from Marley. Jack Lees blows the whistle. Thunder Dan picks up the foul, his third.
Well, that seems to be the strategy for the Phoenix Suns. When they want to help out on the post, they wait until the dribble, or on the second dribble is when they usually come, and they come hard, double team. That time Marley fouled.
Three. Over to Scott. Shot clock at 16. Vlade Divac lost the handle, but slapped it over to Eldon Campbell. Gets his own rebound, and then gets fouled. Good hustle by Eldon Campbell to keep it alive. Ceballos now with one personal foul on the night.
Normally when a team like Phoenix, who is the team that leads the NBA in scoring, and by the way, no team that ever led the regular season in scoring has gone on to win the NBA championship. So if the Phoenix Suns are going to win an NBA championship, their first ever, they're going to have to break precedent. But when a team scores a lot of points, they do it by running. They get them in transition. They also give them up in transition. That's kind of what happened in the first half. What the Lakers have to do in the second half here is make sure they really work to take away the transition baskets of the Phoenix Suns, make them play a half-court game.
Campbell didn't get either one. The second one was ugly. Then he didn't get position on West, who puts it right back up and in. West with 4 in the quarter, and they've got the crowd back into the game. They're standing at America West.
To call the timeout. Their strategy on this pick and roll was to double team the ball and let the roll man go. That man in the circle was assigned to pick up the roll man. Eldon Campbell got over there way too late, then backed out of the play. Should have stood his ground. Randy Funn didn't like it. Call a timeout.
Now let's see if the Lakers can withstand this charge by the Phoenix Suns. As they were walking back out on the court to begin play, Charles Barkley grabbed every player and was in every one of their faces of Phoenix. Campbell, his first 2 of the second half, and the Lakers still lead it by 3. And believe it or not, Charles Barkley is the only Phoenix Sun to attempt a free throw tonight. Dumas doesn't get it. The Lakers on the run. Threatt allowing Vlade Divac and Eldon Campbell to cross the timeline. Working through a couple of picks, leaves them open just enough, and he takes advantage of it. Threatt with 18.
I don't see why Byron Scott is complaining when Sedale Threatt shoots the ball. He's just not setting Byron up all the time.
That's right. Dumas inside, Barkley over Campbell. Charles Barkley, the one-man show here in the third quarter for the Suns. They trail it by 3, 7:35 left to play in the third. Threatt to Scott, left open for the jumper. Put that in the bank and draw some interest on it.
Well, that was the perfect combination. Last time he ran the screen and roll, came off, took the jumper. Next time he runs the screen and roll, sets up Byron Scott. That makes everybody happy.
Talked about in the first quarter, the best players for LA, can they get their best shots? They are right now. Loose ball, we got a bug on the rug, and out comes Scott. 3 on 2 to Threatt to the hole.
See, now Paul Westphal not happy. Once you lose the ball, either on a missed shot or a loose ball, you want to see your team get back, force the other team to play 5-on-5, get yourself matched up, and make them earn their baskets.
They throw it away. The Lakers have the basketball. We are in Phoenix, Arizona at a sold-out America West Arena in the first half. The Lakers led by 9. The Suns led by 9. At halftime, the Lakers led by 7. And right now, the LA Lakers hold another 7-point advantage with 6:44 left in the third. And you know, LA called the timeout, Dick. They are on an 8-2 run since then.
That's a good reaction from your ball club. I mean, this team is full of playoff experience.
Worthy misses Campbell, the rebound, the putback. He's fouled on the play. Eldon Campbell very active. Paul Westphal wants an offensive goaltender.
Well, I think he's got a case. Eldon Campbell was all over the rim. But take a look at the other end now. Charles, here's the play inside here. Watch Eldon Campbell. See, touched the rim over there. Great size, great jumping ability. Scrambles, gets pushed around. Finds himself on the free throw line. On the other end, when Barkley was posted up, Randy Funn and the Lakers gave him another look. They fronted him. It caused a turnover. The game plan by the Los Angeles Lakers defensively on how to play Charles Barkley has been just excellent.
Paul Westphal going to his bench. Danny Ainge coming in. Chambers coming in. West sits down. Campbell now 1 of 4 from the stripe. Eldon Campbell, the third-year pro out of Clemson. Career high in points, rebounds, and minutes this year, starting the last 13 games for the Lakers, where he averaged 12 points and 6 rebounds as the starter. Dumas on 3. Nice spin move to Barkley. Blocked by Divac. Boy, I tell you what, that sounded all leather from over here. But Zlate, nevertheless, picking up his 3rd personal foul.
Well, Vlade Divac is a very aggressive player. He does lead the Lakers in fouls. That time looked like he got a lot of leather. Maybe the hand came through, but normally when the block occurs, if the hand comes through and then hits some part of the body, that's usually not called.
Barkley, the only Sun to visit the stripe tonight. And let's take a look at the GMC Truck scoreboard tonight. New York takes the series lead. Indiana in a thrilling one at the Garden. Atlanta taken back to reality by Chicago. And in the 4th, it is all Seattle by 17. In that Chicago game, Michael Jordan, 56 games in a row, he's had 20 or more points. Not too shabby,
I believe.
Alley-oop, Divac to Campbell.
Right out of that timeout, they go for the lob.
And the lead is 9. That matches the Lakers' biggest lead of the ball game. And a turnover to Threatt. He has Divac on the right. He'll take it himself. My goodness. And the crowd is booing as the Suns call a timeout. They trail it by 11. The players are taking a break, and so will we.
The Laker team is eminently prepared for this game. In all stoppage of plays, they have gone to lob plays like this. Excellent execution. Barkley caught on the high side. Eldon Campbell spins off. Now they've stepped up their aggressiveness defensively. There weren't many turnovers in the first half. Both teams only had 6, but turnovers lead to easy baskets, and defensive pressure causes it.
Well, you know, we had LA calling the timeout as Phoenix got the crowd back into it, pulling close to LA. But the Lakers have gone on a 13-3 run since that time. That's not a bad little mark. Well, you know, the NBA history for the playoffs, the Lakers.
The Suns, Ron, are supposed to be a team of destiny. You know, the 47-foot shot by Marley, the off-the-backboard play by Charles Barkley. But they've got to really lock in and play some solid defense. They are not playing together tonight, and they're really being forced to play on the half court.
Campbell doesn't buy Dumas's fake. And really, the Suns are getting 0 production from Dan Marley, Tom Chambers, and Danny Ainge right now.
Well, I'm just shocked that they're not going to Barkley more.
Exactly. You go to the man who got you there. Threatt yelling out his instructions as the shot clock is at the 6-second mark. Worthy stops and pops. Barkley the outlet. Marley to Chambers, who lets it go from the baseline, and he drains it. Chambers with 2.5. The lead is cut to 9. 4:45 left to play in the third. An eternity left in this game. Worthy, Dumas on him. Marley shows the double. Shot clock at 2. Shot clock at 1. Doesn't get it. Campbell keeps it alive again. Worthy can't take advantage of it. To Chambers, spotting up for the 20. Marley out of nowhere to track it down. The 3. No. Last touch by James Worthy. Phoenix has the basketball.
See, what's happened right now is the Los Angeles Lakers are tired. They're not chasing down loose balls. They're not active. They're not getting to the boards. And Randy Fun is going to have to get some fresh people in there. I see bringing in AC Green. Vlade Divac is exhausted. He's not getting up and down the court. James Worthy, hands on knees.
Inside, Danny Ainge, who talked about the lack of production from Ainge, Marley, and Chambers. Marley 0 for 4 in this quarter. But Ainge gets on the books. Scott. Marley slapping at the rebound, the outlet to Ainge. 4 on 2. And we've got a whistle from Ken Maurer. He's saying no, it belongs to Phoenix. He had first pointed LA, but it is indeed Phoenix's ball.
Well, Danny Ainge tried to throw a pass that I don't know how anyone could get it through. I mean, he just threw it right off of a Laker player. So it's pretty obvious it went out of bounds off the Laker.
James Worthy tries to put the body in front of Richard Dumas. Instead, Worthy picks up his first. We've got NBA action coming your way tomorrow night. It'll be New Jersey and Cleveland at 7 o'clock. Note the time, Eastern time. Clippers and Houston will follow that basketball game up as we bring you the playoffs here on TNT. Also have Utah-Seattle on Sunday. Whistle and another foul. And that'll be number 4 on Vlade Divac. And now you get in a situation for Randy Fun. Your big man has 4. Campbell with 3. They've got to be awfully careful, and we'll probably see James Edwards up off the bench. Now, Benoit Benjamin had some work done on a toenail, believe it or not, and they don't expect him to play tonight.
Well, I think that Vlade Divac picked up that foul. He was just tired. He was not getting up and down the court. He wasn't moving at all. Remember Ainge when he took that drive? No one even moved towards him. It was like, you know, hey, this is the same kind of layup that I shoot in the layup line. And that's always a sign you've got some tired players out there.
Vlade sits down. Eldon Campbell comes back into the lineup, and that 11-point margin is now cut down to 5. It's 73-68, nearing the 3.5-minute mark of the third. Threatt from the outside. He has been the clutch to the engine tonight.
Oh, he did a great job that time of faking like he was going to use the screen and then driving to the baseline and pulling up and taking the jumper.
Dumas. He has 6. The lead stays at 5. The chance of defense from 19,000 plus in America West. Worthy over Dumas. Doesn't get it. Barkley, the rebound. He has 13 tonight already. Lakers looking for a stop. Phoenix looking to keep the run going. Shot clock at 8. Chambers inside. Barkley got position on Worthy. That story did not have a happy ending, and a technical foul is going to be called on the Laker bench. We've got a timeout. They're standing again as the lead is cut again to 3. 2 is our score. 2:34 left to be played in the third. We'll take a look at the series of plays that happened and see exactly what might have been called.
Well, the ball went inside to Chambers. He got sandwiched. He found Barkley inside. I think the Laker bench was very upset because they thought that Barkley threw James Worthy away, as he sometimes does. And then I believe there was a technical foul called on the Laker bench.
We're going to have to wait in and see exactly what happened. There was a lot of confusion during the timeout.
I don't see anyone going to the free throw
line. No, I don't think anybody. I don't think it was. I think it may have been called, but then not. They took it away. But nevertheless, we are playing. The Lakers by 3.
That's a pretty good move here. They went to a trap trying to force some movement out of their own defense. Phoenix Suns have been very passive defensively for most of this game. That's a good coaching maneuver to go to a trap because it just gets your energy levels up defensively.
Danny Ainge whistled for the push. That is his first.
Another thing that the trap does is that it redirects the ball. It does not allow the offense to really make the ball go in the direction they want. You can't exactly say who gets the shot. However, if you're organized against a trap, you usually can get very high percentage shots against it.
Byron Scott, 10 points in the third quarter. He has 17 for the ball game. That tells you the story right there. 40 points for Scott in 3 on 67% shooting. Marley and Knight not really finding the net right now.
Well, even though the Phoenix Suns are 25-4 without Kevin Johnson, there's no way they'll win an NBA title without Kevin Johnson on the floor.
That is correctamundo as Scott gets them both. Well, the Lakers have been able to withstand everything Phoenix has thrown at them so far. Phoenix has the engines going full bore at this point. Barkley on Campbell, who's done a nice job on Charles. Scott fakes the double. Barkley patiently backing in. Campbell strips it away. Whistle and a foul, says Jack Neese from behind. And a technical foul will be called on Eldon Campbell. He reached out and touched someone. Unfortunately, he wasn't wearing a purple jersey. He was Jack Neese. So Campbell picks up not only his 4th personal foul, but also a tee, Dick. You've got to control your emotions in the playoffs.
Well, Eldon Campbell feels that he has a legitimate case. He did a good job defensively, and it just was very frustrating. He thought that he had gotten the block, so he's over complaining. He's going, hey, wait a minute, but that's a little bit too strong. You can't have that. You know how strong these guys are. A little tap like that can move you about 2 feet.
Well, Ainge made the technical. Barkley will shoot the foul shots.
Well, it was a pretty generous call as far as as far as Barkley was concerned. I think he felt that he needed that call because Campbell had done a nice job. He stayed with him. He stayed down. One of the things that Eldon Campbell is susceptible to is the ball fake, but not that time. But it all goes for naught as Charles Barkley is on that free throw line, racking up some points and closing the gap.
Well, now Campbell sits down with 4 personal fouls. Vlade Divac has to come back in, also sporting 4 personal fouls. Charles gets them both, and the lead is down to 2, and we have 2 minutes left in the quarter. There's Charles Barkley now with 25 points for the game. Barkley on 3. Worthy being guarded by Dumas. Threatt turns around and he finds the cords.
Sedale Threatt has a lot of confidence. That time the strategy of the trap by the Phoenix Suns was effective, at least in getting the Lakers to start their offense with 14 seconds on the shot clock. But Sedale Threatt made it all go for naught because he just individually created a basket.
Marley dishes off to Chambers. Stolen away by Sedale Threatt. He's got Ainge to beat. Loses the handle. Tries to get it to Scott. Marley, the outlet to Chambers. Barkley parked underneath. Divac tracks down the loose ball. What a play to Threatt. Chambers can't stop him. What action. Oh, I love this game. And we've got a timeout. Oh, no delay of game warning on the Lakers.
Well, this is absolutely delicious basketball. The greatest basketball players in the world diving all over the floor. Scrambling, scratching, clawing. It's gorgeous.
Marley inside the easy 2. And that is Dan Marley's first points since the second quarter. He has only 6 in the ball game. Scott being guarded by Ainge. 10 on the shot clock. 7 on the shot clock. That'll be an offensive foul on James Worthy.
James Worthy had made up his mind. He was going to shoot the ball no matter what because he had Sedale Threatt with the nearest defender 16 feet away. He looks him off and forces up that shot.
4-second difference between the shot and the game clock. Set the pick for Marley. Ainge from the arc. Doesn't get it. Divac battling Barkley. Loose ball foul. Vlade Divac, number 5.
That's a call. I mean, Vlade Divac has to be aware of the number of fouls he has. He has to be aware of the amount of time left in the game. We're still in the third quarter. Only there's just 14 seconds left. It's not a time to pick up your 5th foul. And here comes little-used James Buddha Edwards to come in and replace Vlade Divac.
Edwards played 52 games this year for the LA Lakers. Averaged just over 6 points a game and about 2 rebounds a contest.
I was with James Edwards in Detroit, and he is an outstanding individual. He is a guy that can still do what he can do. He can score, but he's an older player. He's probably 35 or 6 years old, and he's a guy that they are not considering part of their rebuilding program. But right now, it's the playoffs. It's the Phoenix Suns, and it's time to do whatever you have to do. James Edwards can be called upon, and he can come through.
Edwards in his 16th year out of Washington, a 3rd-round pick, believe it or not, by the Lakers back in 1977. And we have ourselves a 2-point ball game as Frank Johnson has come in for Phoenix. He is checking Sedale Threatt. Barkley goes for the steal. Inside, AC Green with the big jam.
See, that's what I was talking about. If you're organized against the trap and poised, you can get an easy shot.
Oh, he nicked it. We have played 36 minutes. The Suns are 10-14 when they trail after 3. And right now, they're on the short end of an 83-79 count.
Minutes away from a stunner at Phoenix. Meantime, Game 1 of the Utah-Seattle series is in the books. The Sonics take it behind Shawn Kemp. 29 points, 17 rebounds. The Sonics win this thing 99-85 in front of the home folks in Seattle. Now let's go back to America West to Ron and Dick.
83-79, that score is correct. Do not adjust your sets. The Lakers lead it by 4. They led by as many as 11 in that quarter and have to really point to the fact that the Laker guards right now very hot. They were 9 of 10 in that quarter, Dick.
Well, I don't think that the Suns are very happy with what Miguel Knight has given them. Dan Marley really has been very quiet. Tom Chambers just trying to step up. Remember this, though. The Phoenix Suns have a lot of weapons. And I also think that the short rotation that Randy Funn has used is going to backfire a little bit because James Edwards, Vlade Divac, I'm sorry, not James Edwards, but Eldon Campbell and Vlade Divac have shown fatigue.
Barkley blocks the shot right into the hands of AC Green as we check the lineups for both teams. Smith and Sedale Threatt will be at the guards for the Lakers. Up front, Edwards, Green, and Worthy. As the foul was called on Tom Chambers, that is his 3rd. For the Suns, they go with Ainge, Barkley, Chambers, Marley, and Frank Johnson. Johnson, the 9th-year pro out of Wake Forest, wearing number 7, number 3. Johnson, his 1st. Paul Westphal, 10-14 when trailing, but 51-4 when leading. But this is the playoffs, and as Bill Burtka told us yesterday, the assistant coach of the Lakers, he goes, the basket gets a lot smaller in the 4th quarter of the playoffs, and that 3-point line gets a lot farther away. Nice ball movement, Lakers. Worthy for 3, doesn't get it. AC Green got away with a push-off.
I mean, James Worthy had to jackknife to get the ball up there. Shot clock was running down. Little show and go, get to your range would have been a better choice there. Phoenix Suns are also 31-0 at home when leading after 3 quarters.
Johnson from the baseline. He sits for 3 quarters, comes in and hits a big shot. That is what Paul Westphal says is the luxury of having Frank Johnson, whether he gets 3 minutes or 30 seconds. When he comes in, he produces. Smith, foul from behind by Chambers, his 4th.
I think if fatigue does not enter into this game, especially as far as the Los Angeles Lakers are concerned, because Randy Funn has only played 6 players. It's going to be a situation where they have to call on pride. Now he's going to go deeper into the bench. He's got James Edwards in. He's going to get Christie in. He's going to give 3 to rest. These are the kinds of things that I think are smart. I think he's got to do this on the front end here, try to hang, and then make a run in that last 6 or 7 minutes.
Well, the Phoenix Suns, not a big team anyway, but have 6'10" Tom Chambers at the center position, and not since 1978 has a team won an NBA title without a center at least 6'11", and that one was, of course, Wes Unseld. Barkley doesn't get it, but he will go to the line again. When you talk about a lot of teams, some of the Chicago Bulls have talked about it, the Knicks have talked about it, having that big guy in the middle, Dick, in the playoffs, to get that big rebound near the end of the game. And right now, you see Oliver Miller, Mark West, both on the bench, and they're going with Tom Chambers as their big guy.
Well, you know, Randy Funn was telling me that this particular lineup is a problem lineup for most teams, especially when Kevin Johnson is involved in this lineup instead of Frank Johnson. You got a Johnson in there, but the wrong Johnson. Now you got Sabalos is coming in. The Ainge will play the point now, so you're going to have a situation where you got a very small but a very potent offense for the Phoenix Suns. Look at this. The Lakers average 6'7" per man, but the Suns only 6'3".
The friendly bounce goes toward the purple. The Lakers lead it by 3, 10.5 left in the ball game. In case you just joined us, the Lakers took control of this game in the second, leading by 7 at the end of 2, and they led by 40 at the end of 3. Kevin Johnson is not playing for Phoenix. Anthony Peeler not playing for LA. To Smith, the shot clock at 2. Campbell puts it up as it goes off. Chambers the rebound. This is a time where LA needs to weather any type of a storm. Christie with the block. Ainge took an elbow in the face and went down hard. No call.
Well, I think Danny Ainge found himself pretty well covered, so he took the hard flop. Tried to get the call. Be interesting to see if Danny Ainge really was hit on that play.
Shot clock at 4. Worthy makes his move as it hits the 3 mark, and the last 2 trips down the court have not been successful one for the Lakers.
Yeah, I can see the Laker coaching staff discussing the status of the fatigue of James Worthy. He just cannot get the ball in the basket.
Chambers now with 10 for the ball game, and the lead is down to 1. This is the closest the Suns have come since midway through the second quarter. Edwards on Chambers. Buddha with a couple of rings from Detroit drops it down for his first 2. The Lakers playing with no All-Stars since 1978 on this team. It was the year, of course, Kareem punched Kent Benson and broke his hand, wasn't able to play. But they're doing it with a cast of everyone right now, and that'll be an illegal defense. I think it's called on Edwards. Randy Funn saying that he was out there.
Well, I think Randy's got a legitimate case, if you see, because James said that he was guarding the man that was low. It was confusing as to who was guarding who, but it doesn't matter.
We've got a break.
Into Marley. He turns and shoots. That'll win the game.
April 6th, when the Lakers came back from a 20-point deficit to take a 114-112 lead, but Dan Marley hit the 33-footer at the buzzer, and that gave Phoenix their first season sweep over LA. The final of that game, 115-114. And now let's take a look at tonight's Dutch Boy in the paint as the crowd continues to rock in Phoenix. Center comparisons, big for the Lakers as far as rebounding. And the Lakers out-rebounding the Suns 34-32 for the ball game. And this is a team, the Lakers, that were out-rebounded 22 of their last 32 games. And overall on the year, they were 18-30 when they were out-rebounded. Barkley yelling instructions.
Well, it's CBT time for the Phoenix Suns. Charles Barkley time. All those times in the first half when we talked about they're not going to Barkley, they will be going to Barkley for the finish of this game. Barkley's having a quiet 27 tonight, along with 13 rebounds. Sedale Threatt, 14 of 19 for 28 for the Lakers.
Inside, the tip won't go. Christie battling Barkley, who ties him up. Marley and Chambers, a 2-on-2 for three. Barkley tosses down A.C. Green and gets the foul shot. Randy Funn will call a timeout once they cross the stripe. The Suns have taken the lead. Phoenix lead since it was 42-41 at the 4:10 mark of the second quarter.
Well, Dan Marley has a wide open three, but look at Barkley. Throw A.C. Green away. Put it back in the basket. And celebrate.
To the chance of beat L.A., a familiar cry in Phoenix over the years, but the Suns have only been able to beat the Lakers in one playoff series out of 7. Right now, they have taken the lead at 88-87. The Lakers led by as many as 11, but the Suns outscored them in the last 2.5 by a count of 9-4. We've talked about the Lakers stepping up when the challenge presented itself throughout tonight's game. Let's see if they can do it one more time. Campbell doesn't get it, but the tip up and in by A.C. Green.
Well, you talked earlier about the fact that the basket gets a little smaller in the playoffs. How about this? Phoenix Suns, 1 for 8 from three-point land.
And that arc gets a little bit farther out. Barkley, Campbell playing him straight up. Threatt fakes the double team. Johnson open for the 20. Green, the rebound. The coaches of LA say this is the best year in A.C. Green's career. He's come up big tonight in the last 30 seconds. 7 minutes left in the ball game. Threatt, the fall away. Oh, he is unconscious tonight.
Well, there's no way Frank Johnson can stop Sedale Threatt. Sedale Threatt's having some kind of night. That's his 15th basket.
He has 30 for the ball game. His season high was 32 this year. Chambers, Campbell showed body, didn't go with it, and Chambers battles it right back for his 14th. The Lakers by 1. Byron Scott set to check in for L.A.
See, Threatt knows he can shoot right over Johnson.
There it is again. Count it! And Sedale gives the crowd a quick look as he is 16 of 22 from the outside tonight.
See, having Frank Johnson in here right now is double pleasure for the Lakers because they can trap off of him, not worry too much about him taking a perimeter shot, plus they can score over him on the offensive end.
Marley on the cut. The whistle blows. Ceballos in. Byron Scott back in. Games decided by 3 or less, believe it or not, despite the fact that they are under 500, the Lakers are number 1 in the NBA. Phoenix is number 2 as far as wins go.
Well, the only way to explain that is good coaching.
Worthy picked up his third. Marley gets the first. This is Dan's first trip to the line tonight. He only has 7 points, 4 in the first half. As Barkley on the return.
He's absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing.
As a coach, you have to be frustrated. The simple things, boxing out, hitting your free throws in a playoff game. Barkley looked at the steal. Worthy inside. Green has it stripped. Off Green's leg. The Suns have it. Tied at 93. Another timeout. At 93 apiece. Still have 5:40 remaining to be played in the basketball game. Vlade Divac still on the Laker bench with 5 personal fouls. As Charles Barkley even just walked into the Lakers huddle, which cracked up some of the Lakers. He walked right over into the huddle. As you see the field goal percentage, the Lakers hot for 3 quarters, not for the 4th. And we are set.
The thing that's made it successful for the Phoenix Suns is this small lineup. You can say that Chambers is the center, or you can say that Barkley is the center. Either way, there's a lot of offensive weapons out there, a lot of quickness defensively.
There's Barkley, Campbell still on him. Scott looking for the double team. It comes over from Green. Barkley takes advantage of it. And that is the first lead since the second quarter for the Suns.
Well, that's Barkley's 34th point. Not bad for a guy that only had 2 in the second quarter.
His playoff high is 39. Scott being hounded by Danny Ainge. Throws up the prayer. It won't be answered. Tipped out of bounds. Phoenix. A 2-point lead and the rock.
James Worthy had no place to go with the ball. Gave Byron Scott the ball late on the shot clock. He did the best he could.
Lakers not showing the patience that they did in the first 36 minutes of the game, especially offensively. Barkley with 7 on the shot clock.
Spin move.
The double team by Green. Chambers sneaks underneath. We have a foul. No basket.
Charles Barkley is absolutely wonderful at reading the double team. Now, the double team that time came very, very late. But he sensed it. He almost has a 6th sense. I thought he was going for the spin move. The double team came late, and he still found Tom Chambers underneath.
Chambers will visit the line. He is 2 for 2 tonight. He has 14 points on the ballgame. Excellent free throw shooter out of the year, better than 84% as Divac's coming back in, and they're going to give Eldon Campbell a little rest. Chambers, who Charles Barkley says really has adapted to the role that he has, knowing that he's not the main man as he once was in Phoenix's trip to the finals in the late 80s, early 90s. We have not seen much of Oliver Miller tonight for the Suns. Phoenix on a 7-0 run. The shot clock at 6. 3 over Chambers. He has the shot tonight. 34 points for Sedale Threatt. The lead of Phoenix is down to just 2. Threatt has taken 23 shots, missed just 6. Marley inside. He gets the roll.
Great move by Dan Marley. Weaved his way through traffic. Got up inside in the lane in heavy traffic. Put it off the glass.
Marley with 9, the lead back to 4. Nearing the 3-minute mark of the 4th.
See, right now there's just not a lot of offense on the floor for the Los Angeles Lakers, and I'm sorry, but there's names like Worthy and Scott on the floor.
Chambers has to grab the hand of Vlade Divac, and Tom committing his, what should be 5th personal foul. And that'll take Vlade Divac to the line. Danny Ainge talking to Westfall.
You have to admire the game plan of the Los Angeles Lakers, but you also have to admire the perseverance of the Phoenix Suns and their ability to use all the weapons they have. They're very excited about the fact that the Phoenix Suns fans are excited about the fact that Vlade Divac missed the free throw. 3:34 left in this game. 99-95. Suns on top.
Divac's 2 of 4 from the stripe. Both coaches want to talk about it. It is within both of their reaches. With 3:34 left, the Suns by 3. Half left to be played in the ball game, and you asked how important is the home court advantage? Well, we answered. 82% have won the series after winning game 1. 73% have won the series with the home court advantage. I think we were talking during the break about how the game has to really begin inside out. Last year, Phoenix didn't have that real big inside post-up presence. Now they do. LA, doesn't have it. It's flip-flopped, and you can see who's benefiting from it.
Well, it used to be you could go into James Worthy, and at this point in the game, he could come through with those clutch baskets. I don't think that Eldon Campbell or Vlade Divac are reliable enough. If LA is going to get in position to win this game, I mean, they're clearly involved in the outcome of it. They're going to have to make some things happen defensively because they're not getting much done on the half court.
Ainge, the running jumper. Danny Ainge with only 5 points in the second half. He has 10 for the ball game, but the lead is now 5 by Phoenix. They put Ceballos on 3. Divac, the big return. His first field goal of the second half.
Well, that was a well-executed play out of the timeout, but even James Worthy couldn't get that shot down either. He had a wide-open shot in the lane. Vlade Divac tipped it in.
Green has now gone over to cover Charles Barkley. Worthy will go out on Ceballos. Divac chasing Chambers as Green and Divac switch. Chambers are running. This is the Tom Chambers of old.
Well, Tom Chambers is an extremely reliable player in the clutch. He's not afraid to take the big shot. He actually wants to take as many as you'll let him have.
The lead is 5. Threatt over Chambers for 2. Doesn't get it. He made 9 of his last 10 shots before that. That'll be goaltending on Charles Barkley. Give Vlade 2 more.
Well, Sedale couldn't quite get this one down. AC Green almost kept it alive. Vlade Divac picks up the loose ball. Goaltending.
Alley-oop to Ainge, slapped away by Sedale Threatt. The Lakers have a chance to tie it or pull within 1. Still 2 minutes left.
2 minutes.
Divac trying to set a pick for Worthy. They lose the handle. It'll be a foul called on Charles Barkley.
You got to wonder about throwing a lob to Danny Ainge in such a crucial situation. 2 minutes left in the game. You got a 3-point lead. Danny Ainge, not known as one of the great leapers in the league, but Barkley throws up the lob anyway. Now the Suns find themselves in a situation where Byron Scott is in position to make this a 1-point game.
Scott at the line tonight. He is perfect. 5 of 5, 85% on the year.
Well, here's the play I was talking about. There's Danny Ainge trying to get out there and try to show his leaping ability. Could not jump over Sedale Threatt. Questionable choice by Charles Barkley.
Scott still looking for his first points in the fourth quarter. The concentration. He's 6 of 7 from the line. He has 19 for the game. The lead is 2.
Lakers really ought to try to get on the free throw line. They got 4 guys, Threatt, Worthy, Perkins, and Scott, all shooting in the 80s.
Barkley battling AC Green down low. Shot clock inside of 10. Green one-on-one with the big guy. Has to kick it out. The shot clock at 2. Marley throws up the prayer. It won't be answered. That'll be a violation. The Lakers have the ball with 1:29 left, and Paul Westphal scratching the head, wondering what his team can do to pull away from the number 8 seed. Timeout. A 2-point lead by the Suns. Ernie Johnson, I know that you feel the same way I do. Don't you love the playoffs? EJ back in Atlanta.
And I know you're Ron Thulin. Back here with Don Nelson. Seattle and Utah played game 1 tonight. You know what Utah is going to do. They're going to come at you with Stockton and Malone and that pick and roll, and Seattle handled it pretty well tonight.
They did. George Karl had them ready to play. There's no question about that. They've even got the black sneakers to prove it.
Yeah, unity, a great show of force there for the Sonics, and they were unified tonight in winning over the Utah Jazz. Look at Sean Kemp, man. The big rebound and sticks it back. He had 29 points, 17 boards. Utah trying to hang around. Look at this shot by Jeff Malone, somehow going to go, but that only cut the gap to 64-46. Gary Payton, the steal, and one. 69-48 at that point. Seattle home free, winning this thing 99-85. Yeah, got the black shoes. They're all wearing them, and they got a 1-0 lead as they beat Utah. Now, back to Thu and Versace in Phoenix.
Thank you, Ernie. It has been a pleasure to work with Dick. except he keeps giving me Versace fashion tips. The blue socks got me tonight. He got me on the blue socks. Dick, our situation right now, a 2-point Suns lead. We've talked about it throughout as we look at the timeout situation about the Lakers withstanding everything. This is a veteran team. Is this where this comes into play? You've got a number of guys on the floor that have been in this situation before?
Well, you know, and not just the experience of the Lakers, but the inexperience of the Phoenix Suns in playoff situations. They have been knocked out of the playoffs the last several years by the Portland Trailblazers. The Blazers have been their nemesis, but tonight you have a situation where Charles Barkley has done a yeoman's job of putting this team on his shoulders and getting them in position to win the game, got him the lead. On the last trip down, he was double-teamed. Dan Marley should have dove to the basket, his man with the double. Instead, he settled for that long outside shot, and when Barkley was in bad position to make the pass, and then he went right to Dan Marley, got right up in his face and said, hey, you should have cut to the basket. Barkley really understands basketball.
He's a very smart basketball player. Scott and Threatt out front. Worthy trying to fight through Dan Marley. Ceballos all over Threatt. Chambers reaching around. Vlade Divac, no call. Phoenix has it with 1:05 left to play. Barkley on Scott. Barkley setting up in the left block. The double team by Threatt. Age to Chambers. Stolen right back by Vlade Divac. Worthy all the way. We are tied at 1:03.
James Worthy didn't look tired on that play. That was the old elevation. Got way up on it.
That may have been a make good on the no call on the end on Chambers because he about mugged Vlade Divac on the other end. And right now, with 46.8 left to play, let's take a look at it again. We are tied at 1:03.
Well, you know, this is the same aggressiveness that caused Vlade Divac to lose it at the other end. Now James Worthy takes advantage of the fact that at this point in the game, in the NBA, the officials are going to let you decide who wins the game. They're not going to decide it.
As it should be. And the Laker bench, who has been standing the entire fourth quarter and bouncing up and waving towels, they sense that they have a chance to pull one of the biggest upsets in the playoffs so far. Timeout situation. Lakers do have a foul to give, so they can play tough defense. 22-second difference between the shot and the game, and there's the foul we talked about to give.
You know, I never understand why, if you have a foul to give, you waste it like that.
Well, that was wasted, basically.
Go for a steal, double team, and get aggressive in a double team. But don't just waste it like that.
42 seconds left, a fresh 24 for the Suns. They have it. We are tied. Age aggressively dumping it off to Chambers.
Great one in the corner.
Threatt quickly rotating on defense. Age up top. Worthy tipped into the hands of Byron Scott, and that'll be a blocking foul on Dan Marley with 29.5 left. Ceballos almost got teased by Kenny Mauer.
Well, Sedale Threatt took a risk. He went over, double teamed. That left Ainge open. Ainge had to show and go. Got into the size, the one advantage that the Lakers have. And then the ball was pushed outside. Dan Marley goes in and fouls. Byron Scott, 85% free throw shooter on the line.
Looking into a sea of red and black signs that say brick.
Well, the last time Byron Scott was in this situation was just a minute ago. He missed the first one a minute ago. Not this time. Drains the first. Stepping up for the second. Gave his Los Angeles Lakers team a 1-point lead.
Campbell has come in. Divac is out. Byron Scott misses the second. It is a 1-point advantage. 27.4 left to be played. Paul Westphal will call a timeout. And now you're Paul Westphal. It's almost obvious that you think he'd have to go back down low to Charles Barkley. But honestly, even though Charles has a bucket load of points tonight in the shape of 34, they have played him very well because he hasn't beaten them other ways.
Well, what they're going to have to do, and there's not going to be any doubt about what they will do. Kevin Johnson is not on the floor. He would be an option in this situation. Charles Barkley has to have the ball. If you're Paul Westphal, you have no choice. If you don't give the ball to Charles Barkley, at least let him try to make something happen. And it doesn't work, you'll be greatly criticized. If you do give it to him, then that's what you should do. Then you'll have at least the support of your fans on your back, and you will be able to have a scenario that can work out well for you. What will happen, I believe, is that the Suns will go to Barkley. Lakers will match up, probably Eldon Campbell. Barkley will try to wait for the double team. If not, he will take the ball to the middle and try to get himself on the free throw line if he can't get the ball in the basket.
Kevin Johnson in street clothes. There will be a 4.4 difference in the shot and the game clock. Now, this is a foul called on Dan Marley that sent Byron Scott to the line. Was it good?
Nah, sure. He moved into him, put his body on him. Marley at that point, in the game, should have just got back defensively. Corralled Byron Scott, bought time for his teammates to get back and match up. He took a calculated risk by going and trying to draw the charge there.
They are standing 19,023. Phoenix has the ball. 27.4 left in the game. 23 on the shot clock. The crowd chanting, beat LA. To Age for three. Doesn't get it. Worthy tips it. Ceballos keeps it alive. Inside, Marley battling his way. Doesn't get it. Tip, rebound. Who has it? The Lakers did. Then Phoenix. Then the Lakers. Age reaches up, grabs the jersey of Byron Scott. My goodness gracious. Danny Ainge, holding his left wrist now, grabbed the jersey of Byron Scott and committed the foul. Oh, Dick, you are just stunned over here, big guy.
I am stunned. Danny Ainge had a knockdown three. I don't know if that was the best choice. What happened is that they sent Charles Barkley to the basket. He faked like he was going to screen. He sealed, came back, got the ball. I believe they were going to have him go one-on-one. The Lakers immediately triple-teamed him. They said, if you're going to beat us, it's going to be against three guys. He kicked it off to Ainge. Ainge shot the three, and then it was a wild scramble inside. The Suns had opportunities to get the ball up, just couldn't quite get it down. And now Byron Scott has an opportunity to put his team in excellent position.
Phoenix only with one timeout left.
Remember this, though, that the Phoenix Suns have been a team of destiny all year. Big play after big play.
You remember on April 6th, Dan Marley with a three-pointer to beat the Lakers in the last second, but right now a three-pointer would only pull them even. Lakers by 3 in what could be one of the big upsets of the 93 playoffs. Ernie, back in Atlanta. It's yours.
All right, thank you, Ron. A number 8 is against the number 1 seed. Second time tonight that that's happened because Indiana almost did it to New York. Pacers surprised you tonight?
Yeah, both of these games, I'm still in shock. It could have happened to the Knicks, and, sometimes that's the best thing that can happen to a really good team. It's a wake-up call.
And it certainly was tonight because the Knicks had a huge lead. It vanished, and then they had to really fight to hold that lead at the end of the game. Charles Oakley got tossed in this thing for 2 tees. The second one came after he swung the elbow and almost knocked down George McLeod. Game tied 104, and this is a huge shot by Patrick Ewing, working on LaSalle Thompson. They're up by 2. Controversial play here.
Yeah, some people would say he was moving on the play. Others would say it's a flop. What do you call it?
They did not call it. Ball went over, and then Indiana with one more chance, and Reggie Miller had a good look at the bucket, could not bury the 3, but Bob Hill's guys gave him a pretty good run. 107-104. The Knicks hang on to win by 3. Meantime, the Suns down by 3 as we go back to Thu.
Phoenix guards tonight, 38% from the field. They were only 1 for 10 from the arc. Now, Dick, 9.4 second. Your coaching hat is back on. Do you go for the three or do you go for the quick two and try to make something happen defensively?
Well, my philosophy would be that you need some kind of a score here. I think if you want to try to put it all on a three-point shot, that's not necessarily the best strategy. Although this team is laden with good three-point shooters, though they're 1 for 10 tonight. 2 and a foul can still keep you in the game and put you in a position to win. You've seen Byron Scott, an 85% free throw shooter, miss 2 crucial free throws. This game would be over had that not happened. So I think 2 and a foul or a 3 will be just as good.
Well, Oliver Miller is coming into the lineup, and to think about it, you have Miller, Ainge, and Barkley. 3 new players from last year's team are in at a crunch time. And Miller has not seen a lot of action tonight. Trigger is the inbounds pass. He's going to have to hurry. He just gets it in. Marley for 3, doesn't get it. Rebound controlled by the Lakers, and there is a foul on the play. Marley really did not have his feet planted underneath him.
See, that's the situation I was talking about. He was just going to take the 3. When he penetrated, he could have gotten in and gotten an easy 2, and then an immediate foul. See, there's still 3.5 seconds left in this game, which is a lot of time in an NBA game. So I think you needed to do what would be the most prudent thing. That was a very difficult shot that he took. It would have been just an absolute miracle if he could have made that off-balance 3.
Now this is Sedale Threatt's first trip to the line, and they are beginning to head to the exits. But Dick, you said it, 3.5 is an eternity in the NBA because he needs to make one. Why people would be leaving?
It's beyond me. This is the best. This is when it's the best right here. This is when it's the most delicious.
And he gets the second, but still, I wouldn't leave till I hear the horn. Ainge for the 3, doesn't get it, and the Phoenix Suns in the biggest upset of the 1993 playoffs so far. Surprise, the highest scoring team in the NBA, the team with the best record. The final was 107 to 103, and a lot of the credit is going to have to go to Sedale Threatt. Threatt, the 10th-year pro out of West Virginia Tech, originally a 6th-round pick by the Philadelphia 76ers. In fact, he is the lowest pick still playing in the NBA right now. Sedale Threatt with the big numbers tonight, 35 points, only missed 7 shots, 26 points after he got hurt in the game, and that led the Lakers to the 107-103 victory. Sedale, you had a night tonight. You were 17 of 24. You also had 7 assists, 35 points. It was one of those nights you just felt it.
No question. I came out, shot it well, and Randy told me to keep shooting. When you're shooting it like that, keep shooting.
How about the strategy to play Charles Barkley? It looked like you wanted to play him with single coverage with Eldon on him as much as possible, and if you came to double team, it looked like you were coming late.
No question. Eldon did a great job on him. If you double team, the shooter's going to shoot you out. So we had to stay home tonight and just take our chance, and it worked out for us.
So Dale, let's get some little on the more serious side. It was a big win for you, but you still have a lot of basketball to be played. Now everybody has counted you out. They've said the Lakers are a team that is not going to win. They're coached. They don't know if they're going to be back. What has been going on in the locker room that would bring you to come out tonight and play the type of game you did?
I think I give all the credit to Randy Fon. He did a great job. He kept us focused. A lot of changes happened this year, and he just kept us focused and said, hey, we can come here and win. And I think the last game we played here, we played them tough. And they hit a 30-footer to beat us, but we came out and got the win.
We hear there's been a lot of team meetings lately. Is this reminiscent of the kind of attention to detail that Pat Riley used to give the Lakers?
No question. Randy Fon is right there with us, and all the way. I think the difference today was the defense and the shot selection.
Okay, the big question. You've won game 1. The home court advantage shifts to you. Can you beat these guys?
Well, we're real confident now to come here and get the first one, and that was our goal, and it worked out for us.
Well, they're cheering at West Virginia Tech right now.
Yeah.
Sedale Threatt, 35 points. He leads the Lakers to the big win. 107-103 is our final. Thanks, Sedale, for joining us. Now let's head back to Atlanta and Ernie Johnson.
All right, Ron. Whoa, Nelly, how about that, man? We talked to Randy Fun before the game, and honestly, if there was a mismatch in the first round, everybody thought this was it. How stunned are you?
Well, first of all, let's give credit where credit is due, and that's to Randy Fun. What a great game plan. First of all, he slowed the tempo down. He got the Lakers to play the style that they needed to stay in the ball game, and then all of a sudden he has a chance to win. Down the stretch, they played terrific. They made some big shots. But don't get too carried away with this thing, because this cannot happen. I mean, it's going to be a wake-up call. It could be the best thing that happened to Phoenix. To get a wake-up call, to get scared, lose that first game, because they played absolutely no defense through the entire game.
But isn't there on the other side also the feeling that, man, we can't afford to do this again, and here the Lakers playing free and easy. Nobody thinks we're going to do anything.
You've got that right. They better not take the next one lightly.
It's unbelievable. The Lakers beating the Suns in the first game of their series. Let's hit the board for the other Friday night action. Also in the Western Conference, Seattle wins its opener against Utah 99-85. Sean Kemp was big, 29 points and 17 rebounds. The Indiana Pacers gave the Knicks a scare, but New York hangs on, winning at 107-104. And the Atlanta Hawks and Chicago Bulls, man, 114-90. Michael Jordan and the guys, winners over the Hawks. That's the site of our finishing touch tonight. One of your favorite plays of the night, I know, Coach. Number 23.
Yeah. This is the Michael Jordan catch. Most guys can't do this with two hands. He does it with one. Never brings the left hand on the ball. Even shoots his jumper one-handed. And he claps for himself. I agree.
Well, as well he should, ladies and gentlemen. Michael Jordan, the stud tonight, 35 points. He outscored Dominique Wilkins, who had 24. Now, inside the NBA coming up, they'll have highlights of all the games, plus Shaq and Dennis Scott, that Knucklehead Club in Orlando. And they'll update Reggie Lewis's situation. Don't know if he's going to play tomorrow or not. He's spending the night in a hospital. New Jersey and Cleveland. That's game one of our doubleheader tomorrow as the Cavs try to take a 2-0 lead. And then we'll bring you the Clippers and the Houston Rockets game 2 of that Western Conference series. Don Nelson will be here tomorrow night for his final evening. It's the hat trick, 3 nights in a row. We'll have a special gift for you for doing that. The Lakers winners over the Suns. It's a stunner. We'll take you back to Phoenix after this.
Score Phoenix 8-2 in the last 3 minutes of the ball game. Charles Barkley 34 points, but it is not enough. The Lakers take a 1-0 series lead. The final 107-103. And our Budweiser player of the game, this is no question about it, Sedale Threatt, unconscious. 35 points, 17-24, Dick.
Well, he had some kind of a night. He smelled when he could score. He smelled when he could do things defensively. See, this is Frankie Johnson. He just knew that he could own Frankie Johnson, bumped him off a little bit there, and then just shot right over him. Sedale Threatt again, this time taking the ball, shaking and baking on a bigger Charles Barkley, gets him up into the air. How about this? A little fadeaway, and you got it. It's in. Mark it.
Game 2 between these two teams will be Sunday, but first tomorrow, NBA action continues your way. 7 o'clock Eastern time, we'll have the New Jersey Nets taking on the Cleveland Cavaliers. We'll follow that up with the LA Clippers and the Houston Rockets. Coming up next on TNT, it'll be Inside the NBA. Our friends Fred Hickman and Vince Cellini will have all the highlights and scores from tonight's action. That'll be next. Once again, our final score, the Lakers in the upset, 107-103. For Dick Versace and our entire crew in Phoenix, Arizona, I'm Ron Thulin. Thanks for watching, and good night, everybody.